What's Kingdom Hearts, you ask? Let me put it this way. Imagine Disney and Square Enix got together and had a baby, and there you go. One amazing franchise. Hello guys, I'm Keyblade World of 15 and welcome to my review for Kingdom Hearts 1. Now I have to be honest here, the only version of this game that I've played to completion is the remaster released on the PlayStation 3 in 2013. Since the lighting in Kingdom Hearts 1 on the PS2 was horrible. Literally, the screen was so dark I couldn't see anything during the storm scene right at the start of the game, so I was just wandering in circles. But fortunately, this isn't the case in the remaster. So without further ado, let's do this. Before Kingdom Hearts was born in 2002, Squaresoft, as it was previously known, had produced some legendary titles for the Sony PlayStation, most notably Final Fantasy VII. The company had endured serious financial problems, however, and so Square needed to find a successor to the very popular game if the company were to survive. As this was happening, Disney Interactive wanted to make a 3D platformer that involved a brand new character going through multiple Disney worlds based upon their films, and thus they got in contact with Square. However, Square was afraid that this new concept wouldn't appeal to many people, and so they needed to rely on what made Final Fantasy great in the first place, and so Kingdom Hearts was made. The story begins with our young protagonist Sora and his two best friends, Riku and Kairi, on the Destiny Islands. They all dream of exploring the outside world, and thus the three friends work together to create a funky space travelling raft. Seems legit. However, on the night before they set sail, a storm envelops the islands and separates the three friends. As this is happening, Court Wizard Donald Duck and Knight Captain Goofy discover that their king, Mickey, has left the Disney castle to fight the dark monsters known as the Heartless, and thus task them both in finding someone who possesses the key. You see where I'm going with this? Sora then wakes up in a whole new world known as Traverse Town and finds himself in possession of a key-shaped sword, known only as the Keyblade, and thus allies with heroes from multiple Final Fantasy games such as Squall, Yuffie, Aerith, Cloud, and many more to help combat the darkness. In the process, Sora crosses paths with Donald and Goofy, and together they battle the Heartless across many Disney-based worlds, as well as worlds unique to the Kingdom Hearts universe, while searching for their friends Riku, Kairi, and the King. Now this concept makes up the bulk of the game. You play as the protagonist Sora and fight the Heartless alongside two party members. This is essentially your squad, and will mostly consist of Donald and Goofy, but occasionally you'll have access to a third party member who's often the protagonist of the corresponding Disney world. For example, in Agrabah you can join forces with Aladdin, or in Atlantica you can fight alongside Ariel and many others. What I love about this game is that whilst you do predictably play through the events of the corresponding Disney world, Sora, Donald and Goofy also have their own motives for being in these worlds, and thus their story arcs progress as well. In true Square Enix fashion, Kingdom Hearts is indeed a role-playing game in which you use the Keyblade to cut down your foes, either with physical attacks or magic attacks, while swapping out equipment and items in which to support you in your journey. As you level up in the game, reach milestones, or accomplish difficult tasks, Sora will be rewarded accordingly with new powers, such as abilities, health increase, magic increase, or upgrades to new magic abilities and summons. This feels rewarding and for the most part is very useful, as it allows Sora to access new areas of levels, take on more difficult foes, and ultimately turn Sora from a helpless kid with a sword to an absolute badass hero. In addition, magic can be used either offensively or defensively. For example, you have your standard offensive magic such as fire, ice and lightning etc, which you use to destroy your enemies, or healing magic such as Cure and Arrow that allows you to recover health and reduces the amount of damage you take. There are also passive abilities such as Leaf Bracer and Second Chance, which can mean the difference to being killed outright or being able to survive a powerful hit and combo in which you can recover accordingly. And then there's also the shitty on-rail space battle, which is tedious, dull, and uninspired. But eventually you do get a warp drive, so you can skip these segments, so who the fuck cares? This brings me to something that I really don't like about the game. The game is incredibly difficult. But in all honesty, it's not so bad in the PlayStation 3 remaster due to improved controls and the fact you can actually see what you're doing. In the original game, if you wanted to say, throw your Keyblade like a boomerang towards your enemy, you had to rapidly navigate your way through a menu. Now under pressure from a boss such as Sephiroth, fuck this fight by the way, you're going to obviously make mistakes, which can prove to be fatal due to panic. Fortunately however, the remaster takes on a scaled down form of the reaction commands from Kingdom Hearts 2. This allows you to simply press the triangle button when you need to use the power most. The reaction command that is presented to you is also 70% the power you need at the time, but regardless it's useful. This can save your ass from many scenarios, such as staggering a group of enemies before they can deliver that killing blow, or can protect you from harm. That being said, the game is still very hard, and unfortunately, the only way you can beat some of the tougher enemies in the game is, you guessed it, to grind. And as always, grinding takes a bloody long time to do. Fortunately, the game includes a Hercules-themed world known as the Olympus Coliseum. Here, you can participate in the arena games, which allows you to level up and gain some unique equipment and powers. It also possesses some of the most bullshit battles in the game, like this shit, and this fucking bullshit. In addition, the necessity to grind is presented to you right at the start of the game. You literally constantly fight Tidus, Wakka and Selphie as well as Riku on the islands. And I have to be honest, these three characters from Final Fantasy X are just pointless cameos throughout the series. I mean, why the fuck are they there? Oh well. So this means that progressing through the game can be a long and dreary road. And it does make the story pacing to become unbearably slow. Which brings me on to the music. The music for the franchise is largely produced by Yoko Shimura, who has made some legendary soundtracks for Final Fantasy, as well as the Kingdom Hearts franchise. They are for the large part beautiful remixes of classic Disney songs, but also has some unique tracks of its own. However, remember what I said about the dreary long road and poor pacing of this game? The game's OST largely consists of 2.5 minutes worth of fresh music, and then enters a loop. Now imagine listening to this for 45 uninterrupted minutes. You see what I mean? It becomes maddening. And unfortunately, this plagues the series, but thankfully, this scenario has actually improved dramatically due to the much better pacing of the games and the action-packed combat. On the whole though, I do like the soundtrack, but having to consistently listen to this going over in your head over and over again can be stressful. As to the game's presentation, for its time, the game's graphics were very impressive and rivaled that of the PlayStation 2 superstars such as Ratchet & Clank and Jak and Daxter. However, for the remaster of the game, this pissed me off. Why the fuck are the faces being presented to us in low resolution? I can understand this for the PlayStation 2 version, but this isn't acceptable for the remaster. Overall, however, the game does run at a solid 30 frames per second, which can lead to some smooth and stylish combat sequences as well as beautiful cutscenes. Did you know, when Kingdom Hearts 1.5 was being produced, the assets to the original game were largely lost, and thus the majority of the game needed to be reconstructed from the ground up, and thus relied on the assets of Dream Drop Distance, the previous entry in the series before the remaster was made. Which brings me on to the story. Now, I'm going to be quite honest with you here, the story is quite complicated throughout the series, so bear with me on this. So having saved the majority of the world and defeated the alliance of Disney villains, Sora learns that Kairi, along with the other 6 princesses of heart, beings whose hearts contain no traces of darkness, are being held hostage by Maleficent, alongside Riku, who has turned to the dark side in hopes of finding Kairi and saving her, as well as a mysterious hooded figure who is leading the Heartless in hopes of opening Kingdom Hearts, and ruling all worlds under dark. Riku and Sora cross paths, only for Sora to lose his Keyblade to Riku, for Riku is its true master, and thus leaves him with his wooden sword. Donald and Goofy reluctantly abandon Sora, believing that the mission comes first over friendship. Unable to give up on Kairi, however, Sora teams up with the Beast, whose love for Belle allowed him to cross over to another world. Sora and the Beast fight their way to Riku, who loses his Keyblade to Sora due to him having a stronger heart. Donald and Goofy return to Sora's side, and they engage in combat with Sora as the victor. Out of jealousy, Riku desires more power and succumbs to the Hooded Figure's dark influence, thus allowing him to possess Riku. Sora then encounters Maleficent, the leader of the Dark Villain Alliance, and they battle to the death. Despite all of her powers, including a dragon form, Sora kills her and continues his search to find Kairi. The Hooded Figure, now possessing Riku, reveals himself to be none other than Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness, and states that Kairi's heart lies within Sora. Sora then sacrifices himself to save her, turning himself into Heartless but saves Kairi. Ansem then proceeds to kill her, but the last remnants of Riku's heart fights back. Realizing his mistake, does what he can to save Kairi and Sora's friends. Meanwhile, Sora, now Heartless, follows his friends. Kairi quickly realizes that the peaceful Heartless standing beside them is actually Sora, and the love in her heart returns him to human form, and together they escape the castle. Meanwhile, Ansem executes his endgame and attempts to open Kingdom Hearts. Having saved Kairi alongside the other princesses, Sora, Donald and Goofy go after Ansem and enter a climactic battle at the heart of the world. Ansem is defeated, but succeeds in opening the door to darkness, only for Light of Kingdom Hearts to destroy him, but the damage is already done. The three friends attempt to close the door, whilst Riku, now fully restored to his normal self alongside King Mickey, close the door in the realm of darkness. As a parting wish, Riku asks that Sora takes care of Kairi. Sora then says goodbye to Kairi, promising to return once they save Riku and Mickey, thus beginning the event of Chain of Memories. So overall, what do I think of this game? Well, in all honesty, I think the biggest flaws of this game is in fact its harsh difficulty, as well as the story's poor pacing, but overall, it remains a pretty solid game to this day, due to its unforgettable characters, fantastic and engrossing story, and its impressive combat system, and so I give Kingdom Hearts 1 6 out of 10. I would give it 7 if it were paced better, and I still really highly recommend you get the PlayStation 3 remaster. Not just for this game, but it also contains a remaster of Chain of Memories, which I'll review at a later date, as well as the movie adaptation of 358 over 2 days. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, hit that like button, subscribe and share. I'm Keyblade Wielder 15, and I'll see you in the next video.